Hey Reddit, I never thought I'd be here writing something like this, but life has a funny, brutal way of humbling you when you least expect it. My 35M, soon to be ex wife, 33F, and I have been married for 7 years. No kids, just the two of us, living what I thought was a relatively peaceful life. We both work full time. I'm in IT and work mostly from home, and she works in marketing and has a hybrid office setup. We used to be the couple that others called solid, the kind that made it through COVID without killing each other, went on vacations twice a year, had inside jokes, Friday pizza nights, all that we're doing fine crap. Except we weren't. I just didn't know it. A few months ago, she started taking Ubers to work more often. We live in a city where public transport is decent and we have a car, but she claimed she just wanted a break from the stress of driving or squeezing into packed trains. I didn't think much of it. In fact, I even encouraged it, told her to make life easier for herself if she could. Soon, she started mentioning this one driver, Leo. At first, it was just in passing. Oh, Leo was driving me again today. He's always so punctual. Or Leo had the best playlist this morning. It was innocent, right? Just small talk. I wasn't jealous. Why would I be? He was just a guy doing his job. I never suspected a thing. What I didn't realize was that Leo was always driving her. Every time. She'd request him specifically under the pretense of feeling safe. I mean, okay, I get that. But something in hindsight just doesn't sit right with me now. It wasn't just rides. She started going out more, saying she was eating with friends or coworkers after work. Some weekends, she'd disappear for a quick brunch or a meeting at a gallery. I didn't question it. I trusted her. God, I feel stupid just writing that. The first real crack didn't come until much later. But back then, everything seemed fine on the surface. We still slept in the same bed, still had sex, though less frequently, still made dinner together sometimes. She still laughed at my dumb jokes. But now, looking back, I realize I was just a convenient background character in her little side story. The husband she came home to while she played her part in a different world I had no clue about. That world had Leo in it, and I was about to find out exactly what kind of role he played. So let me tell you about the night everything started unraveling. It wasn't like in the movies where you catch someone red handed. No, my descent into this nightmare began with something simple. It was a Tuesday night. She said she was going out for dinner with a friend from work. I didn't think anything of it. She does that from time to time. But something felt off, can't explain it. Call it gut instinct. She got all dressed up, like really dressed up. Tight black dress, heels, makeup on point. Not that she doesn't do that sometimes, but this was different. It wasn't work friend dinner level. It was first date energy. I asked who she was meeting. She said Kara. Funny thing is, I'd met Kara. Kara's married and pregnant, so unless this was some kind of champagne belly night out, I was already raising one eyebrow. Anyway, she left and I let it go. But around 11 p.m., I got a weird feeling again. I checked her location on Find My iPhone, something we'd both agreed to have after a lost phone situation 2 years ago. Not because of distrust, just convenience. She was not at a restaurant. She was parked at the edge of a park in a neighborhood across town. Middle of nowhere, no businesses around. Just trees, benches, and dead silence at that hour. I waited a bit. Then her dot started moving. Slowly. Like, but not driving home. No, it was circling the area, pausing, moving again. I called her. She didn't pick up. I texted, "Everything okay?" Delivered. No reply. I waited 20 minutes. Then she called back, breathless, saying, "Sorry, Kara had a mini breakdown. We were just talking in the car." I said, "Oh, you're still with Kara?" Long pause. Then, "Yeah." "Why?" Red flag. Huge one. Next day, I checked our shared Uber account. She'd removed her ride history from the app. Removed it. Not just didn't take an Uber, but actually manually deleted trips, except one. She missed one, and that one showed a trip ending in the exact area where I saw her location parked. Driver's name? Leo. That was the first real confirmation that something wasn't right. The worst part? I still tried to rationalize it. Maybe he's just a friend. Maybe she needed to talk. I even wanted to believe that. But things were about to get worse. Much worse. So after the whole sketchy Uber ride and her Kara breakdown excuse, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I barely slept that night. My brain was on fire, running through scenarios, convincing myself I was overreacting, then convincing myself I wasn't. The next morning, I decided to ask her straight up. No drama, just a simple conversation. Or so I thought. I waited until after breakfast when she was sipping her coffee and scrolling through her phone like nothing was wrong. I said, "Hey, can I ask you something weird?" She raised an eyebrow, half smiling. "Sure. I saw on the Uber account that you took a ride with Leo last night." Instant change. Her whole face tensed. She froze, then forced a fake laugh. "Wow, okay, spying on my rides now?" "No," I said calmly. I just happened to check and noticed your location didn't match what you told me. You said you were with Kara, but the ride dropped you off at a park." Boom. That was it. The crack in the wall became a flood. She slammed her cup down, instantly defensive. "Oh my God, are you tracking me now? What is this? A f***ing investigation? I was with Kara, okay? Maybe Leo dropped us there because Kara wanted air or whatever. Why do I have to explain myself like I'm on trial?" I didn't even raise my voice. "I'm not accusing you, I'm just asking why you lied." And then came the lies. Rapid fire, nonsensical, hysterical lies. "You're just paranoid. Leo's gay, by the way, so good luck making this into something it's not. I only keep using him because I feel bad canceling on him. You don't even talk to me anymore. Maybe if you paid attention, I wouldn't need to have conversations with my driver. Oh my God, maybe I just needed to feel seen for once in my fing life." Wait, what? It was like watching a magician pull excuses out of a flaming hat. Nothing made sense. She contradicted herself with every sentence. She was hysterical, shouting, crying, then instantly cold, like she was flipping switches. The moment I mentioned checking her location, I became the villain. I was controlling, manipulative, invading her privacy. I said, "If nothing happened, just let me see the messages with Kara. Just clear this up." She shrieked, "F you. You don't get to go through my phone like I'm your child." And that was it. She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. Said she was staying with a friend. Didn't say who, didn't say when she'd be back. I stood there in the silence, the coffee growing cold on the counter. I finally knew the truth. I just didn't want to say it out loud yet. But the cracks were now canyons, and they were only going to get deeper. It's hard to describe what it feels like when your entire reality just collapses. It's like someone reached into your chest and rewired your heart to hurt at full volume every time you think about her. After she stormed out, I just sat there in silence for hours. I didn't even cry at first. I was just numb, like I'd fallen into a dream I couldn't wake up from. I kept replaying everything over the last few months. Every smile, every time she kissed me goodbye, every fake love you. I started questioning what was real. Had she ever meant any of it? Had I been living in a lie this whole time? I didn't go to work the next day. I couldn't. I stayed home, sat in the dark, kept checking my phone like a lost dog, hoping its owner would come back. She didn't text. She didn't call. Around 8 p.m., I broke. I called her, straight to voicemail, texted, "Can we talk, please? I just want to understand." No response, so I did something I never thought I'd do. I called Kara. She answered on the second ring. I played it cool, just asked how she was doing, then casually asked if she and my wife had dinner the other night. Her reply, "Dinner? No, we haven't seen each other in weeks." That was it. That was the moment. No more doubt, no more benefit of the doubt. No more wondering, just cold, hard confirmation. She lied, boldly, without blinking, and used her own friend's name to do it. That night, I cried. For real, alone in the shower, like some movie cliche. Rage, heartbreak, humiliation, they all hit at once. I punched the wall, screamed into a towel, curled up on the floor, and let the sobs take over. I wasn't mourning her. Not really. I was mourning the version of her I thought existed. You don't grieve a person. You grieve the idea of them. And the idea I'd built of my wife, it was gone. I still wasn't ready to take action. Not yet. Part of me still hoped this was salvageable, that there was some explanation, some last card she'd play that would make sense of it all. But deep down, I knew. I knew. I just wasn't ready to accept it yet. This is the part where something inside me finally broke and didn't grow back the same. 2 days after the meltdown and silence, she came back. Just waltzed in like nothing happened. No apology, no explanation. Dropped her bag, said, "Can we just not fight today? I'm exhausted." I didn't say anything at first. I just stared. She flopped on the couch and started scrolling through her phone. I walked over and calmly said, "We need to talk about Leo." Her eyes didn't even leave the screen. "Oh my God, still with this?" Yes, I said, because you're lying, and I know it. I talked to Kara. That got her attention. Her head snapped up like she'd been electrocuted. You what? I called her. She told me she hasn't seen you in weeks. So now I'm going to ask you one last time. Are you sleeping with him? Silence. Then the grin. That smug, bitchy grin she gets when she knows she's cornered and decides to go nuclear. She shrugged. Fine, you want to know? Yeah. Tim, happy now? Boom. Just like that. Cold. No emotion. Like she was talking about ordering coffee. Wow, I muttered, my voice shaking. How long? She scoffed. Why does it matter? It's not like you were paying attention anyway. You don't even touch me anymore. I blinked. So that's your excuse? You're bored, so you start banging the Uber driver? She stood up and got in my face. His name is Leo, and at least he listens to me. At least he doesn't make me feel invisible. I just stared at her. She was so far gone. No remorse, no regret, just blame. Somehow this was my fault. That was the moment I realized she was never coming back. Not the version of her I married, not the version I loved. That person was dead. I said, "You need to leave. I want a divorce." She froze. I think she expected a fight, tears, begging, but I was done. So done. She exploded. Oh, now you grow a spine? Good luck finding someone who'll put up with your boring ass. I gave you the best years of my life. You're seriously throwing it all away over one mistake. I just walked past her and grabbed her bag, tossed it toward the door, calm as hell. You made your choice. Now live with it, she screamed, called me every name in the book, slammed the door so hard the mirror shook. I sat down, hands trembling, but I felt peace, hollow, cold peace, but peace nonetheless. The war was over. Now came the fallout. So after the explosion, I assumed she'd vanish for a while, maybe shack up with Leo the lover boy and pretend she's starring in her own Netflix drama. Nope. She came back. 2 days later, middle of the afternoon, I was working from home trying to sort through legal docs and figure out what comes next, and suddenly there's knocking. Loud, insistent. I opened the door and there she was. Sunglasses, oversized hoodie, no suitcase this time. Just her looking annoyingly casual. I didn't even say hi. I just stood there. She said, "Can we talk?" I said, "I think we've said enough." Then she pulled the first twist. She started crying. Full on mascara dripping soap opera tears. Suddenly she was sorry. Suddenly Leo was just a phase, a mistake, someone who made me feel wanted when I was lonely. She even had the nerve to say, it wasn't even about sex, it was emotional. I just needed to feel heard. Heard? I spent years listening to her complain about her coworkers, her mom, her friends, her Instagram algorithm. I was a listening machine. She kept trying to come inside. I didn't let her. Then came the second twist. She said, I ended it with Leo. He was obsessed. He started showing up at my work. He's unstable. I blinked. Wait, so now he's the problem? She nodded dramatically. He got weird, like possessive. I had to block him. He's stalking me. I didn't know whether to laugh or throw up. The guy you left me for is suddenly dangerous now that I kicked you out? How convenient. She pleaded with me to let her stay just for a few days until she found somewhere safe. I said no, flat out. And that's when she flipped again. Suddenly I was cold, heartless, vindictive. Suddenly I was the reason her life was falling apart. She stormed off again, said I'd regret this, said she was going to make this very difficult if I went through with the divorce. Guess what? I am going through with it. I already called a lawyer. Consultation is in 2 days. Let her throw whatever tantrums she wants. I'm not going back. I saw the real her, and I don't want that in my life anymore. But now there's a new layer to this. Leo. If she's telling the truth, big IF, then this guy might not be gone yet. And part of me wonders, is he really done with her? Or is something worse coming? Hey Reddit, so remember how she claimed Leo, the Uber guy, had turned into some clingy stalker and that she blocked him? Yeah, turns out that was a lie too. Shocker. It all went down 3 nights after she showed up crying on my doorstep. I was starting to relax, thinking maybe the chaos had cooled off a bit. Then, around 10 p.m., I got a knock on my door. I wasn't expecting anyone. Thought it might be my neighbor or Amazon or whatever. Nope, it was Leo. Let me paint this guy for you. Tall, smelled like cheap cologne and leather seats, beard that looked like he trims it with a steak knife, shifty eyes, wearing a too tight shirt that screamed, wannabe bad boy. Hey man, he said, all casual. Can we talk? I stood there stunned. About what? He shifted, scratched his neck. Look, I didn't mean to cause problems, all right? I didn't know she was married at first. So, right there, I knew she lied again. Because remember, she told me she vented to him about our marriage all the time. I asked, so you found out she was married later and kept sleeping with her anyway? He actually shrugged. She said it was basically over. You were checked out, that she was lonely. Of course she did. But here's where it got weird. He said, she told me she was going to leave you, that we'd be together for real. But now she's ghosting me, says I'm dangerous, that I'm a mistake. Man, she's lying to both of us. He looked genuinely pissed. Not violent, but emotional, like a guy who just realized he was used. Then he said something that chilled me. If she comes running back to you, man, don't trust her. She's not who you think. I told him I already figured that out. He sighed, gave me a sad look, then walked back to his car. I watched him drive off in the same damn Uber she used to sneak around behind my back. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because of Leo, but because now I was wondering, how many lies has she actually told? Was Leo the only one? Was there more I didn't know? And what the hell was she going to do next? So after the Leo encounter, I realized two things. One, my wife is a master manipulator. Two, I needed to get ahead of whatever game she was about to play next. I kept my appointment with the divorce lawyer. His name's Mark, straight shooter. He didn't sugarcoat anything. The moment I laid out the story, from the Uber rides to the screaming matches to Leo at my door, he just shook his head and said, "This isn't going to be a clean break." No kidding. He told me to document everything, every call, every message, every interaction. He also told me to not talk to her alone anymore, only through text or email. And especially, don't let her back in the house. That's what she wants. And damn, was he right. Because the very next day, she showed up again, this time with a new twist. She was dressed up, makeup, heels, hair curled, like she was trying to remind me of who she used to be. She smiled sweetly and said, I've been thinking, maybe we rushed things. I want to talk. Just talk. I stood in the doorway, told her it wasn't a good idea. Then she did the thing, the fake vulnerability, eyes welling up, voice trembling. She looked at me and said, I've been so lost without you. Leo scared me. I don't know what I was thinking. Can I just come in for 5 minutes? Please? But thanks to Mark, I knew what this was. A trap. Because here's the deal. In our state, if I let her back into the house and she stays overnight, it can complicate property division and delay the separation clock. So I calmly told her no, and I recorded the whole interaction from behind the door, audio and video. That's when her mask slipped hard. She went full psycho mode. Started screaming about how I was cold, controlling, emotionally abusive. She banged on the door so loud the neighbor came out to check. And here's the kicker. She called the police. Told them I locked her out of her own home. Luckily, I had all the documents, the lease in my name, the restraining text messages, the video. When the cops showed up, I stayed calm, showed them everything. One officer turned to her and asked, do you live here currently? She stammered, well, no, but then you'll need to leave, ma'am. The look she gave me, pure venom. But she left, and I realized she isn't just unfaithful. She's dangerous. She's the type who will lie, twist, manipulate, even call the cops just to regain control. This isn't about love anymore. It's about power, and I'm not playing her game. Remember how my lawyer told me to document everything? Yeah, turns out that advice just saved my sanity. So here's what happened. I was going through my old laptop, the one my wife used sometimes when hers was acting up. We both had iPhones, and at one point we shared an Apple ID because she kept forgetting passwords. Eventually she got her own, but we never fully unlinked iCloud. Big mistake for her. Huge win for me. I noticed a strange folder in iCloud Drive, one I never created. It was called Docs. Harmless name, right? Inside, screenshots of conversations, photos of her and Leo in his car, a lot of them. Notes she'd written to herself, some like diary entries. Others, strategy. One literally said, if I cry hard enough, he gives in. Use that. Don't go too far or he'll call a lawyer. Another, need to delay divorce. Get in the house again, even for one night. Might flip the timeline. But the worst one, a video. Her sitting in the passenger seat of Leo's car, looking into the camera and saying, honestly, I could have him wrapped around my finger again if I wanted. It's almost too easy. He's so predictable. She laughed. Laughed like it was a joke, like my pain was an experiment. I don't know why she saved all that. Ego, control, or maybe she never thought I'd see it. I backed up every single file and sent it to my lawyer. Mark's response: "This is gold. This is gold. She just gave us leverage." And yeah, he was right. See, in a contested divorce, this kind of evidence can shape everything: asset division, spousal support, credibility in court. This woman tried to play me like a fool, gaslight me, cheat on me, manipulate me into sabotaging my own case. Now, I've got her on digital tape. And the best part, she still doesn't know I found it. I told you things were about to flip. Buckle up, because this was the moment the tide turned. So after I found all that dirt in the cloud, screenshots, videos, her disgusting notes, I handed everything to my lawyer. Mark was practically giddy. He said, "We're not just defending anymore, we're going on the offensive." The plan? Let her keep playing games, while we let her hang herself with her own lies. First step, I sent her a polite, neutral message. Just, if you'd still like to discuss things calmly, we can set up a time with a mediator present. She replied, "See? I knew you'd come around. We don't need lawyers, babe." Babe, after everything. Then she asked to meet up just to talk again. I declined. She got pissy. Classic cycle. But this time, I didn't take the bait. Meanwhile, Mark filed the divorce petition with all the attached evidence, including her own written admissions and videos. It painted a crystal clear picture: adultery, emotional manipulation, attempted interference with legal timelines, weaponizing false accusations. When she got served, she went nuclear. Started texting me nonstop. "How could you do this to me? You're destroying our marriage over nothing. We can fix this. Please just drop the papers." Then it got nasty. "You're going to regret this. I'll take everything from you. You won't get away with this, you coward." Except this time, every single text was forwarded straight to Mark. Just more fuel for the fire. Then she made her final desperate move. She tried to get Leo back on her side. Yep, she reached out to him again. How do I know? Leo texted me. Turns out he was done being her pawn. He said, "She asked me to write something saying you were abusive. I'm not doing that." This guy may be a dirtbag Uber dude, but credit where it's due. He refused to lie, even offered to give a written statement if I needed it. That was the final nail. I had proof of the affair, proof of manipulation, her own trap attempts, her false accusations attempt, and now her failed witness tampering. Mark said, "This is about to go very badly for her." We weren't just closing the trap, we were slamming it shut. Court day, I showed up early, suit pressed, evidence binder in hand. My lawyer Mark was calm, collected. He'd done this dance before. Me? I was nervous, but strangely ready. Then she walked in, high heels, blood red lipstick, tight dress like it was some audition. She strutted in like she was the victim. Honestly, it was pathetic. She didn't bring a lawyer, said she didn't need one, told the clerk she was representing herself because the truth is on her side. Yikes. When the hearing began, the judge asked if we'd like to attempt mediation. Mark said no. We had overwhelming evidence and needed a formal ruling. She rolled her eyes. Then she started with her testimony. It was insane. She told the court I had neglected her, emotionally abused her, and isolated her for years. Claimed I had fits of rage, and she only turned to Leo because she was afraid to be alone. She cried on cue, sniffles, tissue, the whole drama. At one point, she looked at me like we were in some romance movie and said, "I just wanted to feel loved again." I didn't even flinch, because then it was our turn. Mark stood up and calmly submitted the documents. Screenshots of her texts plotting manipulation, her notes about using fake crying to control me, videos of her with Leo laughing, mocking me, the audio recording of her trying to force her way back into the house, Leo's statement refusing to back her lies. The courtroom was silent. The judge kept flipping pages, raising her eyebrows higher with each one. When Mark finished, he simply said, "Your Honor, this is not a case of a desperate wife. This is a calculated pattern of deceit, infidelity, and emotional abuse." The judge turned to my wife. "Do you have any response to this evidence?" And my wife, no joke, said, "Those are fake. He must have edited them. This is slander." The judge raised an eyebrow and asked, "You're claiming the video of you mocking your husband's emotional reactions is fake?" She stammered, I don't remember that video. Maybe I was drunk." And just like that, it was over. The judge scheduled a final hearing for the divorce terms, but she made it clear my wife's credibility gone. Her attempts to sabotage, the emotional manipulation, acknowledged. Outside the courtroom, my wife exploded, called me a monster, said I humiliated her, screamed that I ruined her life, and for the first time in months, I just smiled. Not out of spite, not revenge, but because the truth had finally spoken louder than her lies. So the courtroom drama was over, but the fallout? That was just beginning. After the judge basically dismissed her circus act, words started spreading. Fast. See, my wife, soon to be ex, had a tight little social circle. She always cared about appearances, constantly curated her Instagram, told everyone we were relationship goals, yada yada. But now, people started asking questions. Some of her friends, mutuals, reached out to me, quietly, said they were sorry. A few admitted she had hinted about having options outside the marriage, but never imagined it was this deep. Her boss apparently heard about the court case somehow. My guess is she was venting at work. And when the manipulation and threats came up in evidence, HR got involved. Turns out she had been bad mouthing me at work for months, claiming she was afraid to go home, trying to justify all her absences and mood swings. When HR asked her for details, backed up by any evidence, she exploded at them too. She got suspended pending a review. Leo, the Uber guy, he ghosted her completely. No more rides, no more messages. According to his last text to me, she kept trying to contact him after court, but he blocked her everywhere. Then she started calling me. Again, let's just talk, please. I made mistakes, but you're being cruel. I'm the one suffering now. Is that what you wanted? I didn't respond. I was done. Emotionally, it was weird. You'd think I'd feel victorious, but mostly I just felt tired. Like I'd finally crawled out of a burning house and now had to sit on the curb, breathing again for the first time. But there was one moment of freedom that hit me hard. I got the keys back. The house, the one she tried to manipulate her way back into, was officially mine again. I walked through it alone that evening. No yelling, no lies, no pretending, just silence. And damn, it felt peaceful. That night, I slept in my bed with the windows open for the first time in months. I didn't wake up tense. I didn't dream of arguments. I just slept. Freedom. This part caught me off guard. About a week after everything settled, no more calls, court dates wrapped up, her work suspension hanging over her, I got a message from someone I never expected to hear from again. Yep, the Uber guy, the man she cheated with. At first, I almost ignored it, but the message started like this. Hey man, I owe you something. Not an excuse, just some honesty. He asked if we could talk, said he didn't expect forgiveness, just wanted to clear the air. I thought about it for a while, then agreed. We met at a neutral spot, coffee shop, broad daylight. And what he told me blew me away. Turns out my wife had lied to him, too, from the very beginning. She told him I was cold, controlling, and already separated, that we lived together for financial reasons, but were basically over. He said, I thought you were some absent jerk. Honestly, I figured she was just a lonely woman trapped in a dead marriage. She told him she was in therapy, that I was emotionally abusive. He even said she'd cry in the car sometimes, shaking, saying she was scared to go home. That's how she reeled him in. That's how she weaponized pity. He didn't excuse it. He owned it. I should have questioned it. I should have backed off. That's on me. He said he ended it with her after the court hearing when he saw the real picture, how manipulative she was, how much she lied. And then he apologized. I hurt you, man. I didn't know the truth, but I helped wreck your home. That's on me. I get why you hate me, just I'm sorry. And honestly, I forgave him. Not because he deserved it, but because I deserved to let it go. Holding on to that hate wasn't going to fix anything. The real villain? She was still out there trying to play victim while her life crumbled around her. And I was healing. The apology didn't fix everything, but it gave me one last bit of closure I didn't know I needed. After Leo's apology, something inside me just settled. No more lingering questions, no more what ifs, no more looking over my shoulder. Uh, the divorce was finalized a few days later. I got the house, my savings, and most importantly, my peace. She didn't fight the terms anymore. After the court exposed her lies and her boss got wind of her behavior, she started spiraling. I heard through the grapevine that she tried to go on social media to expose me, posting vague, dramatic quotes about being betrayed by men who pretend to love you. But nobody bought it. Comments were brutal. People asked for receipts. She deleted the posts within hours. Mutual friends? They vanished. Her inner circle? Gone. Even her own family seemed to distance themselves. I didn't gloat. I didn't engage. I didn't clap back. I just moved on. I started hitting the gym again, not to win the breakup, but because I finally had the mental space to care for myself. I picked up an old hobby, photography. I started hiking again, alone at first, and then eventually with someone new. Yeah, someone new. It's early, it's slow, it's honest, and it's nothing like the chaos I came from. She knows what I've been through and respects that I'm not rushing anything. For the first time in years, I feel like I'm me again. I even took a trip, solo. Just me, the mountains, and my camera. No drama, no accusations, no fake crying in the passenger seat of a rideshare, just fresh air and the sound of my own breathing. You know that feeling when you step outside after a long storm and realize the sun's been waiting for you the whole time? Yeah, that. I'm not bitter. I'm not broken. I'm better. And that's the cleanest break of all. Well, here we are. What started as a weird feeling in my gut turned into a betrayal that flipped my life upside down. But looking back now, with everything behind me, I've come out wiser, stronger, calmer. So I figured I'd end this saga with a few lessons for anyone going through something similar, or who might someday. 1. Trust your instincts. If your gut is screaming that something's off, it probably is. I ignored red flags because I didn't want them to be red flags. Don't do that. 2. Don't argue with lies. Expose them. When someone is manipulative, they'll twist your words, fake tears, and gaslight the hell out of you. You don't have to match their chaos. You just have to stay calm, collect proof, and let their actions speak louder than their lies. 3. Don't waste energy on revenge. I didn't slash tires, I didn't post call-outs, I didn't beg or grovel or scream, I just let her hang herself with her own rope. And trust me, karma works faster when you're silent. For healing is a solo job. New relationships don't fix old wounds. I didn't rush into anything. I gave myself time, space, and grace. That's what really helped me move on. 5. You are not your trauma. She tried to reduce me to a version of myself I didn't even recognize, angry, anxious, uncertain, but I rebuilt, slowly, brick by brick, and now I know who I am again. SHA-6, let go, fully. Don't stalk their socials. Don't check in. Don't track how miserable they are. Your healing has nothing to do with their suffering. Peace is the real revenge. If you're reading this and feeling stuck, betrayed, or broken, you're not alone. I was there. I sat in that dark room wondering how someone could just throw love away like garbage. But now, I'm living proof that you can climb out of that wreckage and rebuild something better. Not with them, with yourself. Thanks for sticking through all 15 parts, Reddit. This is me, signing off with a clearer heart, a quieter mind, and a fresh start.